Hi, how's it going there? My name is Mr. O. I'm trying to teach y'all about the Kendrick Lamar halftime show performance. Oh my goodness. I'm trying to teach you about the Kendrick Lamar halftime show performance. I'm trying to focus mostly on the historical aspects of the show and kind of what it kind of means and stuff like that. The reason why I'm doing this video is because a lot of my students said the show was boring, they didn't understand the messages and the meanings, and that's what I'm trying to do. Now, to give you some full disclosure, there are some things here that I don't know everything about. I don't know all the historical content of things, but I'm trying to give you a synopsis or a simpler version of kind of what Kendrick Lamar could be saying. That's number one. Number two, there's only one person who can really tell you what every single thing means, and that's Kendrick Lamar. I am not Kendrick Lamar, but I'll try my best to teach you what those things mean. Now, there are some things who are directly clear cut, very black and white. This is historical impact, or historical meaning of such. I'll also try to debunk some of the myths that I've seen on the internet and try to expose more of the truth, right? I've done my own research. I spent about between at least half an hour of different aspects and different layers of it, to as much as I'll say 2 to 3 hours in total. Whether I was watching TikTok videos, Instagram videos, or reading different segments of the whole thing. So yeah, I guess that's the third point. The fourth point that I want to say is that this is only my interpretation. I'm trying my best, and I have some notes. Right, I have my notes written down as to what I want to say exactly, or give some synopsis to it. Fifth thing is that I am going to show a small snippet of the scene or scenario and then give my interpretation or give some sort of historical feedback and context to that script, line, song, whatever it is. And I guess maybe the last thing to note is that if I looked over to one side in the video, it's because I'm trying to look over any more notes or any more facts I have found online. All right, without any further ado, let's get into the halftime show. Alright, so first thing first, I want to, I guess, debunk something. I saw a Instagram video talking about how the beginning sequence of the PlayStation symbols was some sort of cheat code on GTA 5 or 4 or San Andreas or Vice City. And the sequence is as follows. It goes square, triangle, circle, X, triangle, square, X, circle, square, triangle, X, circle, square, circle, square. I spent about 20 minutes trying to find any sort of cheat code with that sequence, and there is no cheat code with that sequence as far as I have found. If there's another game, sure, maybe. Essentially, that video was claiming the fact that that cheat code sequence was supposed to give you full armor and full health, and that was a meaning toward Drake, meaning that Kendrick Lamar is untouchable, right? He has full armor, full protection, he has full health, right? So he hasn't been hurt by this whole thing, unlike Drake. So there's that. Now, what I do think, at least in my opinion, is the fact that Kendrick Lamar's show, it is a game, right? It's literally played at the Superbowl, which is a game. The PlayStation is a game, and what you see soon is Uncle Sam, who's talking about we're going to play the American game. So there's that interpretation, or that triple entendre, if you will. All right, so this was a fun fact that I found very interesting. I thought was really cool. So Uncle Sam is played by none other than Samuel L. Jackson, a very known, I think the most prolific actor in American film history. Could be misquoted there. I could be misquoting. It could be wrong. I'm not entirely sure. Now, Uncle Sam is the mascot for America. Uncle Sam, U.S., United States, right? Uncle Sam is usually portrayed as a white man. Now, you could take this meaning or this message as Uncle Sam meaning white or white America. Now, white America could mean literally white people of America, or it could mean the ideology or the idea of white America. In this case, oftentimes Uncle Sam is usually shown or used as a way to show that America is always great, America is amazing, America is always good, right? So you could think of it as one of those two meanings, right? Again, either white Americans of America, or the idea of that America is pure and bliss and everything's perfectly fine and great, right? Now, some interesting fun facts about Samuel L. Jackson here that I found out through some TikTok videos and some Instagram videos. First and foremost, Samuel Jackson went to Morehouse College, which is an HBCU, and at the time, from what I understand, is that it was run by a lot of white people. So Samuel Jackson and a lot of other scholars held Dr. King's father hostage along with other members of the board, right? Samuel Jackson did, or Samuel Jackson and his colleagues, or I guess his kidnapper colleagues, I don't know what you want to call them, right, released Dr. King secretly and quietly, and was able to get Morehouse to become more of a black college, right? From what I understand, they were able to get more black professors and get more black studies for the university. The downside was that Samuel Jackson had to be expelled or suspended from the school. Samuel Jackson was also going to be a very prominent leader, or excuse me, a very prominent activist with the Black Panther Party, but his mother told him not to do that. So he didn't join the Black Panther Party because it was going to become very violent, especially fighting against the U.S. government. And then also he quit that and became an actor. Last thing to note was Samuel Jackson also was a pallbearer for Dr. King after he died. So he was one of the 6 men who carried Dr. King's body and brought it into the church, brought it out to the church, to the hearse and such. So I thought those were some interesting facts to note about that. So I think it's cool the fact that Samuel Jackson was a very, very big activist in the civil rights movement and civil rights, just as a civil rights activist as a whole. And now here he is playing Uncle Sam and playing in the system, or playing as a character who made sure that kind of like the civil rights movement didn't happen. It didn't really go through to fruition, which it still did, right? But that's the point. That whole song is not a Kendrick Lamar publicly released song. The song is called by his fans as Bodies, right? That's the name of the song. The song has lots of meaning, which I'm not going to get into very, very specific details, but there's one thing I did want to bring up that Kendrick Lamar said, right? And that line is, "You could not get the picture if I had to sit you for hours in front of the Louvre." Now, the Louvre is a museum in Paris, which knows to have lots of artworks where people go and look at the pictures and the painting and the artworks to understand the culture of from that time period or from that artist, right? My interpretation of this line is the fact that Kendrick Lamar could not make Uncle Sam or white America sit in front of his life from growing up in Compton and being a black man in America, or just being a black person in America, and the struggles and tribulations that he had to go through, right? You could sit there for hours and you would not understand what is going on, right? So that is just my interpretation of what that line means. Now, personally, this is just me personally, this is my, I guess, favorite line almost of the entire show. The line was, "The revolution about to be televised, you picked the right time but the wrong guy." Now, this is a play on words from Gil Scott Heron's 1970s poem, "The revolution will not be televised." And in it, he literally just kind of repeats himself, "The revolution will not be televised, the revolution will not be televised, the revolution will not be televised, it will be live." Now, there are multiple meanings to that, but in my interpretation is that the revolution, talking about the civil rights movement, is not going to be edited, is not going to be documented, is not going to be picked and choose or demonized or anything else, right? That's one. Revolution also, you cannot just sit at home and keep watching the TV and watch the revolution, hope that you will want to be there, or you want to do something, or the revolution will come to you, right? And the line of the revolution will be live. In my opinion, when something is live, it is there. You cannot change, you cannot make it different. It is what it is, right? And also, you have to be there. You have to be a part of the actual revolution, right? That is just my interpretation of what it means. Again, there are multiple interpretations of what that line means, but in this case, I think that's what that means. Now, when Kendrick Lamar is saying the revolution will be televised, or it's about to be televised, is the fact that, again, my interpretation is that this whole entire show is a protest, or the start of the revolution, right? You are watching it. It's going to be edited. You're going to make some changes here and there. But you're going to see this revolution happen, right? Now, the line of "you picked the right time but the wrong guy," that could be a double entendre, right? The first is that because we have Donald Trump as president, he's bringing a whole different revolution, right? A whole new wave of movement that people have never seen before. It's going to be the fact that, hey, we have something that's going on, but you chose a wrong person. You picked the wrong guy to do this. The second meaning is that Kendrick Lamar, oftentimes people look at him as a savior for black people or black culture, and Kendrick Lamar has said multiple times, I am not your savior, right? So even though this revolution is about to start, this revolution is going to happen, Kendrick Lamar might also be saying that I'm not the one to do this revolution or to lead this revolution, right? So again, the line is you picked the right time, but the wrong guy. Good. All right, so the song Squabble Up, I'm not going to get into great details, but one interpretation why Kendrick Lamar picked the song is that it's trying to tell America or black America it's time to start fighting, right? Squabble up, time to put up in hands and start fighting this fight, right? Fight against the game, fight against the system, fight against Uncle Sam. Now, as I said before, Uncle Sam represents white America, right? Either white people of America or the ideal of everything's supposed to be nice, everything's supposed to be good. Uncle Sam told Kendrick Lamar, you're not doing this right, right? You're being too loud, you're being too reckless, you're being too ghetto. And in some ways, you're being too black, right? We don't want you to start all this problem. We don't want you to do all these noise. Don't tell us about what's going on. Don't tell us about the bad things in America. Do not do that. That's not what we're about. That's not what America's about. Don't do that, right? Don't you know how this game, this whole entire thing's supposed to be, right? You gotta act a certain way. You gotta be a, like for better words, you gotta be a good black man, a good black boy, right? Don't change anything about the system. Okay, so this image right here, in my opinion, has lots of meanings, lots of double entendres, lots of different things. But to keep it simple as possible, right? At least to me, this is my interpretation, right? This is the flag of America, right? This is the United States of America. However, because Kendrick Lamar is splitting in half, we're not united, we are divided, right? And as you know, America has three colors: red, white, and blue. Now, in my opinion, the interpretation or the meaning is this. The blue can represent two things. It can either represent the Crips or Democrats, right? Crips being a gang very well known throughout America, more specifically Compton, LA, California, from where Kendrick Lamar is from. Or the other side being blue for Democrats, which is a political party, right? Then you have the opposing side of people who are fighting against these two, right? So again, blue, you have Crips, Democrats, and then on the other side you would have the Bloods, which is another gang also well known throughout all of America, and also pretty known in the Compton area where, again, Kendrick Lamar grew up. Right? You have the Bloods, and then you also have Republicans. So we are divided as a nation. We're not united as a nation, and we are fighting each other all the time. That's just my interpretation. The whites, in this case, to be honest, I don't have anything. Maybe it could mean purity. I'm not entirely sure. Right? But there's supposed to be stars for the flag, but there are no stars. So I mean, clearly, it's kind of hard to do that with people. But anyways, that's just my interpretation. There could be more meanings, could be more other things I missed. Who knows? All right, so as I said before, right? So Kendrick Lamar tried to take his friends out the hood, out of the ghetto socioeconomic situation, unsuccessful the first time. Second time, he did it, right? He got his friends out. In this case, right, the song is called "Man at the Garden." Garden could have multiple meanings. I personally think it could mean either Garden of Eden or just literally just a regular garden. And usually, at a garden is very peaceful. In the song, Kendrick Lamar, at least in my interpretation, is saying, hey, I deserve all these good things because all the things I've done, right? I deserve to be at peace because of what I've done. And oftentimes, for some black culture, some black families, you wear white at a funeral for someone who's very, very close to you. Now, because Kendrick Lamar was able to unite or get his friends out, right, unite them together, he kind of beat the game. Him and his friends kind of beat the system. Uncle Sam didn't like that. Oh, you're gonna work together, you're gonna do these great things together? Absolutely not, right? Someone's going to die. That's just the rule, right? Again, this is a game, and in a game there are rules, and only really the master controller of the game can rig it or fix it in a way that only benefits themselves. So in this case, white America doesn't like when black America does well, is successful, becomes wealthy, and do great things. Oh, you're gonna move up and keep going up all together? All right, someone's got to die. That's the price to pay for playing this game.